Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first ever preview show here on UltimatePoker.com, previewing UFC 167. I'm Jason Somerville, joined here by my friend Martin the Hitman Kampmann. Welcome. What's going on? I'm really excited to hear your 2 cents on some of these fights because there are so many great fights this weekend. I'm very, very excited to be going, but I want to hear your 2 cents before I put all my bets in and see what exactly I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a lot of good fights, man. I'm looking forward to it too.
It should be great. So the whole idea of this show is that there's lots of preview shows and things like that, but I thought that my expertise is always to bet on MMA and to kind of take my perspective from a sports betting perspective and Martin's perspective from a fighting perspective and put them together and to have a beautiful perspective for you guys to enjoy. So with that being said, let's start out with Evan Dunham, Donald Cerrone, 2 guys you have a pretty good amount of experience with, I understand.
Yeah, I trained a lot with Evan. He trains at the Extreme Mature. I trained with Cerrone as well. Both guys, really tough guys. One of the fights I'm looking forward to the most, but I'm friends with both of them. But obviously, Evan, he's my boy, so I can't pick against him. And
so it's even money. They're actually a pick'em fight. They're exactly even money. Donald Cerrone, I've always been really impressed with because he has amazing kickboxing. He's done really well on his feet lifetime. He seems like he's in the last couple of years he's really picked up his game. Like it seems to me like he's really improved in the last couple of years. He just lost his fight against Rafael Nadal, I think. Was that who he fought? Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos he just fought, and he lost to him. But I thought he was still pretty competitive in that fight, and a couple of takedowns might have been the difference in that fight.
He's a very tough competitor, and he's a dangerous opponent. And he's dangerous everywhere. He's dangerous in the stand-up. He can knock you out. He can submit you. He's got very slick submissions. He's got a slick bottom game.
Great leg kicks too.
Great leg kicks as well. And I think the way to fight him, is you can't stay too much at the distance and keep it technical. You got to get in his face and make it a fight, and that's the way Evan fights. Evan gets in your face and makes it a fight, especially if he gets slapped around a little bit. He gets pissed off. He's going to be in his face. He's going to be in there and swinging. That's the way to fight Cerrone. Get in his face and just make it a fight.
So do you think Dunham has the wrestling to take down Cerrone and to control the fight on the ground?
Evan's got great wrestling. I think he can take him down, but Cerrone's really improved as well, and it's an interesting fight, but I'm gonna pick Evan.
At even money, you feel like your edge is on Evan then. All right, so you know what? I'll go with you. I feel like you've convinced me that the smart money is gonna be on Evan for this fight. All right, I think that makes sense. Are you unsure? What are you saying over there? You're definitely picking Evan, obviously.
I'm definitely picking Evan. But I know it's a tough fight. I know it's a tough fight, but I'm picking Evan. He's got all the tools to beat him, but you can't make mistakes with Cerrone. So,
right,
but
yeah.
I think
that should be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that. Evan Dunham was like for so long he was kind of regarded as this up and coming like killer, and then he had a couple of fights that were really tough, and some that were close, and some that were just like almost like unlucky. Yeah. So I'm excited to see him get back on track.
He's had some really tough losses. He had some. The only real loss, he lost to Melvin Gillard. He got clipped early, but he fought Shirk. I thought he won that fight. TJ Grant was another really close fight that could have gone either way, and then Dos Anjos he lost to, which I thought it was kind of BS, because he beat him in my eyes. That was in Brazil. I think the Brazilians kind of, I don't know.
It's tough in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever fought in Brazil?
No, I've never fought in Brazil. I fought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil.
Right, okay. Not quite the same, I guess. But, all right, so let's move over to the main card. Talk about Robbie Lawler fighting Rory MacDonald. Robbie is a plus 300 just about underdog, and Rory obviously is about minus 300 favorite. Who do you like in this fight?
I mean, Rory, he's the favorite for a reason. He's really good, and I think he's going to try to fight him really cautiously, stay on the outside, kind of like he fought Ellenberger, stay on the outside and pick his shots. But Lawler, if he connects, he can finish it. And I think the way Lawler wins, he's going to win by finish. So a good bet, you can bet on Lawler winning inside the distance. I think he's got a great shot. You can get that for like plus 400.
Yeah, like plus 400.
I like that a lot. I think
there's some value on that.
I think there's a lot of value on that. Lawler, all he needs to do is connect, and Rory's gonna have a tough time taking Robbie down if he doesn't like to stand up with him, because Robbie's got some great stand up. Right. I mean, great wrestling defense.
Right. Have you trained either one of these guys before? Because they're both welterweights.
Yeah, no, I haven't trained with him.
Okay, cool. So, Robbie obviously is so well known for his knockout power, and this year he's done so well with he's obviously had a kind of like a resurgence in the last year since he came from Strikeforce. Really, he's actually done really well, But Rory just seems so good. Like Rory just always gets it done. He seems like he always understands, never makes too many mistakes. I just feel like his stand up is so technical, and so I don't know. I just feel like a guy like Robbie Lawler is just gonna have to really connect to make it happen. Don't you think?
No doubt. But we can't be sitting here picking all the favorites, that'd be easy. I'm gonna go for the upset on this one.
Yeah?
I'm gonna go for the upset, especially because the odds are great. The odds are really great.
You think he can get it done?
I think Lawler can get it done.
I believe in Rory too much. I think I'm gonna go with Rory on this one. But all right,
you're taking the safe. You're taking the safe.
I'm taking the safe. Hey, I'm betting money here. I need to protect
You're
my money.
You're a poker player. You should put in a little.
I should be gambling. All right, well, we'll see. Speaking of underdogs that I am a big fan of, Chael Sonnen and Rashad Evans. Chael is actually like a plus 160 underdog, actually. And Rashad is the favorite at like minus 140. How do you feel about this fight?
Well, on this one, actually, I'm with Rashad. Obviously Chael is tough, but the way Chael beats people is he gets on him, he wrestles him, he takes him down. He's gonna have a hard time taking Rashad down. Rashad's got great wrestling, and I feel Rashad's the better striker. So if Chael can't take him down, he's gonna have a tough time striking with him.
For absolutely sure, you're definitely right. That I think when it comes to like a pure kickboxing match, I would be very afraid if I had Chael, as my pick. But don't you think that over the course of the last few years, Chael has so consistently wrestled and been successful with his wrestling that don't you think that and Rashad really hasn't had like phenomenal wrestling. He hasn't really went to it very often. Maybe he hasn't needed to, but he hasn't looked very good. Like he lost against Little Nog. He lost, he had that fight against Phil Davis, which wasn't really impressive, but he did win that one. Don't you think that generally these days, like Rashad hasn't really impressed me too much. He hasn't shown off too much cardio. He's talked openly about how his head wasn't really in it. Do you think that he's going to be able to put it together here and really keep Chael?
I think he'll put it together. Just like you mentioned, Phil Davis. Phil Davis is a guy with great wrestling, and he had a hard time taking down Rashad. And I think Chael's going to have a hard time to take down Rashad as well.
Do you think the fact that it's at 205 is in Rashad's favor, or do you think that's not enough for?
I think Rashad has more experience fighting the bigger guys, and he's a thick dude, but obviously Chael, he's a big guy too, and he cuts a lot of weight to get down to 85. But I think it's if it's in anyone's favor, it's in Rashad's favor.
Interesting. See, I'm pretty strong on Chael here.
I know you are. I know you're very strong on it.
I'm very strong on Chael here because I really believe that Chael has the wrestling that can just going to take it down. Like I think that Chael's gas tank is like much better than Rashad's. It's just proven to be. Rashad gassed against Thiago Silva in that fight a while back. In that third round, he almost let Thiago Silva win because he just didn't really want to do anything, and Thiago had some energy left. So I really feel like Chael has enough wrestling and has better enough wrestling and enough in the gas tank that he'll probably be able to take Rashad down. And once he gets him down, I think he'll be able to keep him there. But
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he might be able to take him down, but he can't hold him down. And I think Rashad can take Chael down too. And
you think that'll be tough for Chael to get back up if he gets taken down?
Well, we'll see. I'm picking Rashad in this one.
You're taking Rashad in this one. Do you think that there's, obviously you've fought like 28 times before. When you've had a busier schedule, like when you've had more media commitments and anything else, have you felt like that's taken away from your training at all? Like, do you feel like there's a chance Chael here has been so distracted by running UFC Tonight and everything else? Do you feel like there's possibility that Chael is just not had the time to properly train for this fight? I'm
sure he's putting in the training too. Of course, there's a lot of distractions too, especially when you have all the distraction he has, but don't forget Rashad. He's doing some of the TV stuff as well. So they're both doing it.
That is actually a really good point. So I guess they're both kind of caught in that thing. So you're gonna take Rashad. I'm gonna take Chael.
I like we're having a little.
We'll see Saturday night, I guess, how that works out. So the main event, George St-Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks. GSP is like a minus 240 favorite, something like that. Hendricks being like plus 220.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this fight? I mean, like, obviously GSP has been the champion for about like 44 years, something like that. So
a long time.
He's been the champion for a very long time. So how do you feel about Hendricks' chances here?
I think Hendricks, obviously, he's got that big punch, and if he can land it, he can hurt GSP. But
he can hurt anybody, don't you think?
Yeah, he hurt me. I fought him, and I trained a lot with him. We used to train a ton together.
I didn't know that.
And let's make it even tougher when you lose,
Right. Yeah, right.
But I got GSP in this one. I'm not counting out. I think Hendricks is one of the toughest challengers he's had in a long time, but I think GSP is going to fight him very cautiously, stay on the distance, and really use his jab, use his reach, and not get into a firefight with Hendricks. Whenever Hendricks is going to come in and try to commit and land those bombs, GSP is going to duck down and try to get the takedown. And the longer the fight goes, the better for GSP.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think that, Hendricks has kind of faded in later rounds in plenty of other fights before, whereas GSP hasn't. Like, when's the last time you saw GSP have problems with cardio?
He has a lot of experience fighting 5-round fights, and he knows what it feels like to go the distance, and sometimes that's not fun.
Right. Yeah, that's not the most pleasant thing. So how do you feel from a wrestling point of view? Do you think that Hendricks is going to have what it takes to stop GSP?
I think if it was a straight up wrestling match, I think definitely in Hendricks' favor. But
you really believe that's true?
Hendricks is a 2-time
NCAA, right?
NCAA champion, and
right.
But this is not a wrestling match. This is an MMA fight. GSP, he's so good at mixing his double leg, his takedowns with his boxing and his head movement. You know, he makes people miss and shoots under and takes them down. You know, if Hendricks come in and try to commit to those big, heavy shots, that's GSP's opening to take him down, and that's why he's been so successful. He's really explosive, and he's really good at timing his shots with his striking, and that's what makes him such a great wrestler for MMA.
Right. GSP is obviously amazing to watch because the way that he mixes in his jabs with his takedowns, it's like beautiful to watch. It's the symphony of destruction. You know,
yeah.
like, it's pretty phenomenal. But I have trouble picking in this fight because I'm really not sure. I think that Hendricks certainly has that powerful strike that he can just land and just knock out GSP if he lands it, which is one of those things where, like, what's the chance of that? Like 15%, 20%? It's some chance, I think. But we saw GSP get rocked with Jake Shields' head kick, right? And that was what was it, like a year or so ago, 2 years maybe. Like it was not that long ago. The Jake Shields was in Toronto. It was that big Toronto fight, right? Like a couple years ago. But I don't think he's been rocked. When's the last time GSP was like hurt?
He got knocked down by Condit.
Did he? Oh, that's right. The head kick.
He kicked him in the head.
Right. That's right.
Knocked him down and had him on a.
That's right. I remember that. That's true. So maybe do you think that if Hendricks connects, he'll be able to he has a shot at like knocking out GSP?
Oh, definitely. GSP, if he gets hit with a big one,
right. I guess if Matt Serra did it, then it's very
Matt Serra
possible
did it,
that Hendricks can do it. I guess.
But I'm saying GSP is going to fight very cautiously and smart. You don't want it's dangerous going into a firefight with a guy like this.
Yeah. So one of the most interesting things for me is that there's always been some talk about GSP that he fights to win. He doesn't necessarily fight to finish. And of all the fights that he's now changing his tone on that, and then maybe it's just talk, but he was talking about in the press conference that he's going to finish Hendricks, that he's worked specifically to finish Hendricks and has things in mind to finish Hendricks.
Okay.
Do you think that of all the fights that he's doing this on, do you think that would be crazy? Is he just talking about that, or do you think that's actually possible?
I still think he's going to start very cautiously, but I can see him in the later rounds. Like Hendricks was kind of fading a little bit when he fought Condit. Condit's got amazing cardio too, but
right.
GSP's got amazing cardio, and if it's going to be a high-paced fight, I can see GSP trying to go for the finish in the championship rounds, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening in the early rounds.
So your pick is GSP. You think probably by decision, but maybe something else. Happens.
GSP by decision, but.
All right, so I'm with you on that. But we're a little disagreement about Rashad.
I thought you were leaning towards Hendricks here.
I was leaning a little bit, but you've kind of convinced me to just probably not touch it. I feel like I'm just not sure.
He's got a big, heavy hand. I'm not saying he can't pull it off. He can
right.
definitely pull it off, and it's one of the toughest challenges in a long time. I'm looking forward to watching it.
That's going to be a great fight.
But it's hard to go against the champ too. He's the champ
right.
for a reason.
Yeah, since 2007, right? And then before that, he was champion before Matt Serra knocked him out. So. Pretty obviously impressive. He's had so many years of success, so it'll be tough to see if the crown will change hands on Saturday night. Hey, this was awesome. I'm pretty. I feel like I'm very well educated now as to the fights and what I'm going to bet this weekend. So hopefully my side works.
Hopefully,
out.
all my sides goes on, so I don't look at it.
We'll have to see and reevaluate that. So
right.
Hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. There'll be lots more of these coming up in the future. Don't forget to tweet Martin Kampmann on Twitter and say, "Hey, Martin Kampmann, thanks for doing the show. It was awesome to have you."
And Jason Somerville.
That's right. You can tweet me too and say like, "Hey, Jason, you did all right. It's okay." Anyway, I will see you guys back for more. Don't forget, I do a show every single day called Run It Up over on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link up, don't worry. And I will see you guys back for more very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.